The mind often conjures up false images of evil, even in the absence of any real evidence of it. I know that you have plenty of spirit. Even before you began to arm yourself with wise and powerful principles to overcome obstacles, you took pride in your struggle with fate. And now, having grappled with fortune and tested your own abilities, your spirit burns even brighter. For our strength can never truly inspire self-confidence until we have faced numerous obstacles on all sides, and even at times come to blows with them. Only in this way can our true spirit be tested, the spirit that will never submit to the authority of external forces. The true measure of a strong spirit is the ability to persevere after being knocked down. Just as a prize fighter cannot enter the ring with confidence unless they have been beaten black and blue, so too must we face and overcome obstacles to truly know our strength. My friend, the only contestant who can confidently enter the lists, must have felt the weight of defeat, tasted their own blood, felt his teeth rattle beneath his opponent's fist, and been thrown to the ground by the full force of his adversary's charge. Knocked down in body, but not spirit. The worthy contestant is a person who, no matter how many times they fall, consistently rises up with greater defiance than ever. So, as I was saying, fate has often triumphed over you in the past, and yet you have not given up. Instead, you have risen and stood your ground with even greater determination. It's in times of challenge that we build our strength and resilience. However, if you agree, permit me to suggest some extra measures that can help strengthen your resolve. There are many things, my dear Lucilius, that seem more terrifying than they truly are, and we often suffer more in our imaginations than in reality. I'm not speaking to you as a strict Stoic, but in a more gentle manner. While it's true that Stoics often view those things that cause us to cry out or moan as insignificant and beneath us, you and I don't need to use such great-sounding words, although heaven knows they are true enough. My advice to you is to not be unhappy or fearful before the crisis arrives, as it's possible that the dangers you fear may never come to pass. They certainly haven't yet. Sometimes we let things torment us more than they should, or we worry about them before we need to, or we worry about them when we shouldn't worry at all. We tend to exaggerate our troubles in our imagination and anticipate great sorrow. We can put aside the first problem for now because we're still discussing it. You may think that what I consider unimportant is actually important, but we can discuss that later. After all, some people can laugh while being beaten, while others cry at a slap in the face. Later we will discover whether these evils derive their power from their own strength or from our own weakness. When people surround you and try to convince you that you're unhappy, do me a favor and listen to your own heart. Don't be swayed by what you hear from others, but take counsel with your own feelings and question yourself independently. After all, you know your own life better than anyone else. Ask yourself, why do these people pity me? Is there any real danger or just rumors and hearsay? Is there any true evil, or is it just a matter of perception? Take a moment to question yourself. Am I suffering needlessly? Am I letting my emotions run rampant, turning a minor inconvenience into a major catastrophe? Now you may be thinking, how can I distinguish between real and imaginary suffering? Here is the way to discern it. We are only tormented by what is happening now or what we fear may happen in the future. Regarding the present, the answer is simple. Consider whether you are physically well and free without any external harm. As for the future, we will deal with that later. Today, at least, there is nothing wrong with your present state. But you may argue, something bad will happen. However, consider first whether your evidence for future troubles is certain. More often than not, we are troubled by our own fears, and we are misled by that deceiver, rumor, who can start wars and spread false information about individuals. Yes, my dear Lucilius, we often agree too quickly with what others say. We do not test the things that cause our fears. We do not investigate them properly. Instead, we panic and retreat, like soldiers who abandon their camp because of a dust cloud raised by stampeding cattle, or who are frightened by a rumor that has not been verified. Somehow it's always the rumors that trouble us the most, for the truth has well-defined limits, but uncertainty breeds speculation and allows the mind to wander into reckless territory. That's why panicked fear is the most damaging and difficult to control of all fears. For other fears may be unfounded, but this one is irrational. Let us examine this matter closely. It's possible that troubles may come our way, but it's not happening right now. Remember how often the unexpected has occurred and how frequently the expected has never come to pass. And even if something unfortunate is destined to occur, what good does it do to run out and meet it? It will arrive on its own in due course. So in the meantime, let us focus on hoping for better things. Consider this: what benefit is there in worrying about something that has not happened yet? By doing so, you are merely wasting your time. In the meantime, there will be many events that will serve to delay or prevent the trials that are looming over you. A fire may create a path of escape, a catastrophe may bring mercy, and sometimes the sword is stopped at the victim's throat. History has shown that people have survived their own executioners, and bad luck is fickle. It may come or it may not, but either way, it is not here yet. So focus on the present and look towards a brighter future. The mind often conjures up false images of evil, even in the absence of any real evidence of it. It twists ambiguous words into the worst possible meaning, or exaggerates a personal grudge beyond its actual severity, not considering how angry the enemy is, but to what lengths he may go if he is angry. However, if we give in to our fears completely, life becomes not worth living, and our sorrows become limitless. In this matter, let prudence guide you, and boldly ignore even those things that are right in front of you. If you cannot do this, counter one weakness with another, and temper your fear with hope. There is nothing amongst these objects of fear that is more certain than that the things we dread ultimately fade away into nothingness, and the things we hope for ultimately disappoint us. Therefore, carefully consider both your hopes and fears, and whenever all the elements are in doubt, place your faith in the most favorable outcome. And if fear seems to be winning, lean towards the opposite direction anyway, and stop tormenting your soul. Remember that many people become anxious and troubled, even when no actual trouble is present or certain to happen in the future. No one puts a stop to themselves when they start to feel pushed forward, nor do they temper their fear based on the truth. No one says, "The storyteller is a fool, and the one who believes it is also a fool, as well as the one who fabricated it." We let ourselves be carried away by every breeze. We fear uncertainties as if they were certainties, and we don't exercise moderation. Even the slightest thing can tip the scales and throw us into panic. I feel hesitant to scold or sugarcoat my words. Let someone else offer soothing words like, "Maybe the worst won't happen." You should say to yourself, "What if the worst does happen? Let's see who comes out on top. Maybe it will even benefit me. Perhaps a noble death will enhance my legacy." Socrates was glorified by drinking hemlock. If you take Cato's sword from his hand, the symbol of his fight for freedom, you rob him of his greatest source of honor. I have a tendency to exhort you for too long, even though all you really need is a reminder. The path I'm pointing you towards is the same one that your nature already guides you towards. You were born to act in this way. That's why it's even more important for you to enhance and embellish the goodness that's already inside you. To close this letter, I need only to convey to you the customary message. The fool, among his other faults, is always getting ready to live. Consider the significance of these words, my dear Lucilius, and you will grasp how disturbing it is that people continuously lay down new life plans and nurture new dreams, even as they stand at the brink of the end of their lives. Consider the examples in your own life, and you may recall elderly people who are still preparing themselves for a career in politics, or for travel, or for business. Is there anything more pitiful than getting ready to start living when you are already old? I would not reveal the author of this phrase, except that it is not well known and does not belong to the popular sayings of Epicurus that I have previously praised and adopted. Comment below what you're going to do today to face your fears. Farewell, my friend. This was the 13th moral letter to Lucilius from Lucius Annaeus Seneca on groundless fears, paraphrased by Apex Philosophy. Thank you for listening. Comment below what you're going to do today to face your fears. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.